Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the books that I'm going to unhaul, or more like the books I've already unhauled. So I have not done an unhaul, I think, in like 8 months, but it's because I unhaul as I read, so I don't have a lot of the physical books. The picture in the thumbnail is like a fraction of the books that I've unhauled this year and the end of last year. So I thought we'd kind of do a super chill unhaul because if you've watched most of my vlogs, you've probably seen the books that I'm going to be talking about in here. So there may be a little bit of repetition just because it is very obvious when I'm going to unhaul. I say I'm going to unhaul them and I give reasons for it. So let's get into this super chill, potentially slightly aggressive unhaul. We're going to start with the books that I already have on hand, and I did go through my shelves a bit, so there are a couple in here that I haven't talked about before, and specifically this one, A Dress for the Wicked. I cannot tell you anything that happened in this. This was a LitJoy edition book, like when they first started, like when they were just doing like Under the Dust Jacket. It was a fine read. I don't really remember anything about it. I'm pretty sure I forgot about the plot like the second I read it. I think I gave it like a 3-star. I was keeping it because the cover is so pretty, but I'm just not interested in keeping this. When I look at it on my shelves, I just think so I really just don't need it on my shelves anymore. I was really torn on this next one because I didn't have high hopes for the book, but I ended up liking it fine. Like I think I gave it a 3 or a 3.5, and it's Star Daughter. This was actually featured in my I read the lowest books on my TBR. It's another fine book. I didn't love the ending of this, which is actually what brought it down a star, and it dragged significantly during the middle. This, I think, is either an Owl Crate or a LitJoy pick, and I was really sad that I didn't absolutely love this book because it is so pretty. So the original, I think, is yellow, and this is just this beautiful purple color, and it makes me so sad that I didn't love this one. But again, when I look at it, I'm just like, it was fine. So again, there's so many other books that I have that I need to put on my shelves that I like so much more. I just don't have the room for this. So the next 2 books are by the same author, and unfortunately I pretty much felt the same about them, which really sucks because they have some of my favorite covers and I love the premises of both of them, but they do not work whatsoever. The romance in both of these books is exactly the same. It's insta-love, cringy, just oh my gosh, cannot stand it. And actually the one from this year I liked even less than the one from the previous year. So this is Within These Wicked Walls. This is a Jane Eyre retelling, and I was thinking about keeping this one until I at least got the second book, because this was a debut book, so normally I expect debuts to be worse. And so I was like, okay, maybe the next one will be really, really good, learn from the mistakes in this and the insta-love. And then Wild Blood came out, and I love this cover so much, but oh my gosh, this was so bad. This I think I read for Blackathon, and I was so excited. This was my most excited read for that month. I bought it the second it came out. It was so bad. It was so bad. It took the bad parts in this and amplified them in this one. So this, these make me angry when I look at them, even though look at the cover. The covers are so pretty. So this is probably going to be a vlog next year of Last Chance authors because I want to give this author one more shot. This stresses me out. So yeah, I can't look at them. They make me very sad, and they're so pretty. I can't. The next one probably comes as no surprise, but The Lost Apothecary. Yeah, no, can't stand it. Can't stand it. I hated this book. I actually have already sold the second one because I was keeping this one until I read her second book, and I hated that one as well. So that one is also part of this unhaul, but I don't have it. So I'll pop it up right here, but it is The London Seance Society. I also got rid of that one. I'm not a fan of her writing. She will also probably be a Last Chance author next year when she comes out with another book, but not good. Now, I really don't like these. I can see why people do like them. That's a difference. I can see why people do like them, but they are so not for me. I really, really don't like them. The next one needs no introductions. If you watched my review about this, I highly suggest watching my review on this one because it is a rant fest, and I have some questions for you. This author is not even getting a second chance. This book was a 1-star. I hated it so much. This is probably my least favorite book that I read this year for many, many, many reasons. So many reasons. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it because this book makes me so angry, and I do not need to look at it anymore on my shelves. This is one, again, that I just look at and I'm just like, it's fine. Wayward by Amelia Hart. It was fine. It's not my type of story. I can see why people absolutely adore this book. But for me, there was just a lack of plot. There was a lack of just general stuff that I like reading in books. I liked the basic message behind the story, but it was a bit of a slog to get through for me. So I think I gave it like a 3.5, 3.75, but it's more probably like a 3 for me the more I think about it and sit with it. So I just don't need this on my shelves. Like I said, I'm trying to keep books that I like really love, or like they have multiple books. Like I am a collector. I am a collector. So even if there's one bad book by an author, I tend to keep it, like How to Sell a Haunted House. I'm keeping because it matches my copy of Final Girl support group, which I absolutely loved. So, but this, I don't really think this author's probably going to be for me, so I'm just going to get rid of it. This next one was an absolute disaster. This is Small Game by Blair Braverman. This was the most cool idea that was somehow made so boring, and then I DNF'd with 20 pages left. I really was gonna try and push through it, but there was some animal cruelty stuff at the end of this book because it's a survival story. This is written by, I think she was on Survivor, or, oh no, Naked and Afraid. This author was on Naked and Afraid, and they decided to write a story of what if they were left out there, like the producers and everything disappeared. The ending was horribly, I skipped forward to the ending. Ending was horribly, like, terrible. It was terrible, so I was glad that I didn't end up actually pushing through and finishing it, because I think I had more like 40 pages left. But still, I probably should have just finished it to count it as a read book, but I just could not bring myself to it when I hit the survival animal stuff that happened. It was traumatizing. Absolutely traumatizing. And if you like animals at all, I would not read this, because there's like a named seen animal that is killed. Multiple. And I was shocked because the rest of the book was super chill with that stuff, and I was expecting it, and then all of a sudden at the very end it was like boom, and I was like, oh my god. So that traumatized me for many days. So I just was like, I can't do it. I cannot finish this book. So yeah, this one's obviously, heck no, absolutely not. And then the last of my physical books that I have with me that I still am waiting to get rid of are both of my copies of Skin of the Sea. This, I can see why people like this, and I can see why people didn't like it as well. This was a DNF for me, unfortunately, because they're so pretty. I have 2 copies. Of course I don't want to get rid of it, but yeah, this is a DNF for me because of the writing. The writing is very over the top, flowery, and sometimes I like that, sometimes it doesn't work for me. And in this case, it did not work for me. So I only got 50 pages, I think, into the book, and the only thing I could tell you about the book is how pretty the sand was. And I was like, this is 50 pages into this book, and this is all I know. So yeah, that was, yeah, it doesn't work for my attention span. I have to have something else to grab my attention. And because this did not grab my attention within 50 pages, I just don't have the time to read something that's probably going to take me a month, and then I won't get anything else done. So unfortunately, this was definitely not for me. However, I can see people liking this. If you like more flowery writing, I would definitely try this one, because this definitely has a market. It's not like it's a bad book like some of the other ones I was talking about. It's just not for me. First up of books that I have already pretty much gotten rid of, like some of them are hiding upstairs somewhere and I just don't know where they are. But a lot of them I actually already have sold or given to friends or Goodwill, etc. So most of them the second I don't like a book, I'm just like, get out of my house. Get out of my house. So it's really hard to film an unhaul when I don't have the books, but I figured we could still go through what books I've gotten rid of in the past couple months. First up is the book If the Shoe Fits. I could not tell you a single thing that happened in this book. And that's kind of my, like, I have no idea why I rated it. I don't know the character names. I can kind of think what the book looks like. I would have to like literally physically go check what the book looks like, but I definitely got rid of this. I think this one is hiding upstairs somewhere, but I just don't have any thoughts, like head empty, nothing, absolutely no feelings about this whatsoever. So, and I already read it, and I could not, I could look at this book and be like, oh, I want to read that. I've already read it. So that one's going, done with that one. Next we have The Moonlight Child, which was an impulse purchase when I first got Pango, because the seller had a book that I wanted, and then The Moonlight Child was also on there. So I was like, ooh, I can ship for almost the same price 2 books. And so I bought The Moonlight Child, and I was like, I don't like stories about children. So I just have no interest in that one. So yeah, that one's That's gotta go too. Oh, this next one is really sad. This one is upstairs somewhere. It's Together We Burn by Isabel Ibanez. This is my Owl Crate edition, and it is stunning. And I DNF'd it 4 or 5 times. I tried so hard to read this book because I really loved the other book that they wrote. I don't remember what it's called, but I really, really liked the other book. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to click my pen. I'm holding a pen, which is bad. But yeah, I tried to read it 3 or 4 times, and I kept picking it up, would read like 3 pages and then put it back down. I really don't like it. I finally called it. I was like, just get rid of it. I know it's beautiful, and you really liked one of the other books by this author, but this was not good. I cannot keep a book that I DNF'd. The next 2 were Book of the Month. I kind of lumped them together because I did the exact same thing with both of them. The Reunion and Lunar Love, I got same Book of the month. I DNF'd both of them about the same page, and they're just both romances that just did not vibe with me. They actually had me questioning if I still liked romances, and then I read some romances and obviously like those. So something about the writing, the plot line of both of these, I just did not like. The Reunion felt very juvenile. It felt very unrealistic. I hated the text messages. No chemistry. And then Lunar Love, the main character was literally the absolute worst character. I hated her. I didn't like how she was manipulating the main love interest. I did not think that was fun whatsoever. I don't like that. I like enemies to lovers kind of thing, but he was literally unaware of any of her feelings. She was just being a psychopath. So did not like that, DNF'd it. Yeah, those 2 gone. This was a bit of a dumb decision by me. I decided, because everybody was talking about the Wheel of Time series, that I would get, The Eye of the World, the first book. I don't know why I bought it. I have zero interest in reading that. And then now that I've seen Becca in the books slowly going through the books and how she talks about them, like, even though I think she's mostly enjoying them, the way she talks about how much of a slog it is, I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. It's just not gonna happen. So my copy that I literally just bought, yeah, that's going too. The next one I have is Loathe at First Sight. This was really sad because my husband actually picked this one out for me in stores. It's a really cute rom-com that's supposed to be, well, it's supposed to be a cute rom-com about a girl who's working in, like, I think it's the video game industry, and it's mostly men, and they're super sexist and disgusting, but she finds like a romance in there. But the writing was so, I think I gave this a 3.5. I liked some of it, but other parts of it were so insufferable. The writing was just not good for this book. I think if it had been done differently, written differently, then it would have been like an all-time favorite romance. But because of the way it was written, I can't. So that one's also out of here. To Kill a Kingdom. I feel like it's gonna upset quite a few people, but I read this and I thought it was fine, but I kept it I don't know why. I don't know why I kept it. And like looking at it now, I have no thoughts about it. I don't even remember what it's about other than I think mermaids. And it's kind of how I felt about Daughter of the Siren Queen and whatever. I got rid of those too, so I'm getting rid of To Kill a Kingdom. The Lady Upstairs. I tried reading this. This was an unplugged book box from forever ago when I got like a couple of the adult boxes, which I totally forgot about in my in my book box video of Did I Read My Book Box Books. There's a couple in there that I know are from Unplugged that I just can't remember. I can't find them. So The Lady Upstairs is one of those, and I did DNF it. I'm not counting it in that video just because I don't know when I got those boxes. I don't know how I got those boxes. But yeah, that one was not fun. I DNF'd it within like 20 pages, so it's not a true DNF for me. I just didn't like the writing. I didn't like the plot line. I just wasn't very interested. There's a bunch of other books that are kind of similar to it that I would rather read, so that one can go. Half Sick of Shadows. I just lost all interest in this after I DNF'd the Guinevere Deception. This is also a King Arthur retelling, and I don't know, I just wasn't interested in it. This is another one that if I haven't sold between now and like a time when I'm interested in it, maybe randomly, but I've had it for a while and I've never had the urge to pick it up. Imposter Syndrome. Yeah, I thought I was being like, I wanted to go outside my comfort zone picking this book up, which I've learned is a mistake. Now I pretty much just only get books I feel pretty comfortable with from Book of the Month, because no interest in this one either. No interest in this one. It's not something I would normally read. So yeah, that's going. Witchy, which is a graphic novel. I thought this was gonna be so good, but I just could not be less interested in it. Another DNF. I think I read 25% of it, and I don't care. I don't care, and I think it's going to be part of a series, and I don't care at all. I don't care to continue the first book to then read more of the series. So that one's also going. All of Us Villains and All of Us Demise. or Alavardomize, I don't remember what it's called. That duology is going because it had one of the best first books I've ever read, and I DNF'd the second book in the duology, and it makes me beyond angry when I think about that duology. So I literally cannot deal with it being in the house. So yeah, it's going. I literally can't. I literally can't think about it or I want to scream. Real Easy. I was really excited about this one, but again, it was just kind of a mediocre. It said it was going to be some sort of like mystery thriller, but it was just really boring. I felt like it was more like a semi-mystery drama, and that is not, it wasn't very good. It wasn't very well written, wasn't really interested in it, and I didn't like any of the characters enough. I cannot tell you what happened in it because it's been so long since I read it, but also I don't know if I could have told you what happened in it like a month after I actually read it because it was just so unmemorable. So I'm not interested in having that on my shelves. 56 Days and Firstborn were both immediate get rid of because 56 Days is a pandemic type of book, and I have learned since buying that I am not interested in reading pandemic books currently, so I have no interest in that. And then I also haven't seen great things about it, so I don't even start that one. That one's just going. And then Firstborn, I don't know what I was thinking. I hate twin stories. I hate them. So why did I buy a twin story? And then I heard some people talking about it, so I looked up the ending, and the ending is so stupid that I was like, no. It's the epitome of a twin story of how dumb the ending is. So yeah, both of those are going. Lone Women. This was one of my most anticipated books for book of the month to put on there. I was so excited to see it when they had it, and it was so boring. And I think it's because it's historical fiction horror, and I just don't love historical fiction when it dives more into the history than the horror side of it. And this was so historically like deep in there that I was just so bored because the horror parts were actually really good and it opened up really cool. I was like in it at the beginning, but so it's like about a woman whose parents died and she has like this suitcase that has like a monster in it. And so she goes out west to get like a plot of land and try to survive and just deal with like the stuff that she has. But the creature decides to make life much harder for her than she hopes. I did read the end, like when I DNF'd it, I always go check what the ending is to see if I wish I would have finished reading it and then maybe would have picked it back up. But I didn't like the ending, so I was glad that I put it down, and so that one's out of here. The Soulmate, I just thought it was stupid. This is a pretty popular thriller right now, and I just really didn't like it. I'm just absolutely sick of domestic thrillers that have the same exact ending, and this one was a little weird too. Like this one, like instead of being like cool and having an interesting ending, it was a generic ending plus a little weird. And just didn't make a lot of sense. So yeah, that one's just no, pass. Big pass. Beasts of Prey. This one is really sad because I feel like this is a good book, but it is not what I was interested in. It kind of had the same issue as a lot of like generic fantasies, where a lot of fantasies have the very exact same plot line, and Beasts of Prey definitely felt like that. It just felt like this very generic fantasy, and I'd already read a ton of fantasy, so I needed something different, and so I started this, and it was fine. I just didn't feel any way about it, so I DNF'd it about 25% in, and I was really sad about that one, but I wasn't going to push myself to read a fantasy that I felt like I've read so many times before, and I didn't really care about the characters. That's the big thing. If I care about the characters, I'm going to keep reading, even if I'm not a big fan of like the plot line. But I did not care about the characters in this one because they were just very two-dimensional, very flat, and very, like I said, generic. I feel like I'd met these characters before in other books. The Queen's Assassin and The Queen's Secret by Melissa De La Cruz. I feel like I don't need to say that much about it. I feel like you guys have heard way too much about Melissa De La Cruz. I just don't like her books. I have found one. If you go watch the Last Chance Author reading vlog, it's all about her. It's all about her, so you would hear more thoughts about her. But yeah, this duology was not good. DNF the second book, gave the first one like 2.5, 3, I think. So not good. Nameless Queen, could not tell you what it's about. I know I read it. I don't know anything about it though. I probably could read it again and read it like a brand new book, but that makes me not want to read it because I'll just forget it again and have no feelings about it. So that one's out of here. Shadow in the Glass was also a book for the lowest books on my Goodreads, whatever, and it was just fine. The ending was really bad because it was actually like a 4. It was like a 4. It was dark. It's a dark book. It was like a 4, and that that ending. That ending ruined that whole book, so I could not look at it anymore. When I Was You, I did it in like, I had a scrapped video. I was gonna do a taste test of a bunch of books that I was thinking about unhauling and like books that I haven't touched in a while, but it was kind of ruining my reading, so I scrapped it. I was like, oh, I can't do this. This is not working for my reading. Yeah, no, that did not work. But When I Was You is just like a generic thriller, and I read the first 2 chapters and I didn't like it, so that's pretty much it with that. What Lies in the Woods? This is a very popular thriller right now, but and it's already gone. I sold it like the day after I read it, I think, because I really didn't like it. I really don't like what the author did with it's after a real true crime story, and I don't love, normally I like something like that, but I don't like how it was done, and also the ending was super bonkers. Like the ending, I had to like go back and read the ending like 3 times, and I think I have a review out for it. I don't remember. And I still, in the review, I'm pretty sure I don't know actually what happened at the end. So no, I'm done with that one. Poison Season. Yikes, yikes. I was so excited about this book, but the amount of animal deaths in this book was shocking. It was so bad. Like, a bird flying into a window makes me sad, but I can get over that. This was like drowning animals and poison, and traumatized. Absolutely traumatized. So I got rid of that one immediately. And I didn't even finish it. I think I read 20% of that book, and it was so bad already. And I'm pretty sure some people said in reviews that it just gets worse. And even if it didn't, I don't care. It was already too much. Episode 13. This one makes me so sad. And technically I actually still have a copy of it because I have it on audiobook as well, because when I tried to physically read it, it was really bad. I was not going to get through it unless I picked up the audiobook. Then I picked up the audiobook, so well done. It is so well done, but it still does not make up for the fact that the rest of the book is bad. Like the actual story is bad. The production of the audiobook though is what keeps you like going. So technically I do still have a copy of it, but I did get rid of my physical copy of it because it was just bad. It was a bad book. I think I gave it a 2.5. Yeah, not good. I wish the story had been as good as the audiobook production. Like I feel like they put more work into the audiobook production than they did in the actual writing of the book. Killers of a Certain Age. This was supposed to be an amazing book. This is supposed to be a really good book, and I really didn't like it. I didn't like the end, didn't like the characters, didn't like pretty much anything about it, which is nerve-wracking because I will be trying the Veronica Speedwell series by Diana Raybourn. So I hope I like that one better, because I have heard people not liking Killers of a Certain Age, but loving the Veronica Speedwell series. So I do have that on hold at my library that I can probably go pick up in a couple days. So high hopes for that. But yeah, got rid of Killers of a Certain Age. The Cloisters. Another really highly anticipated dark academia kind of thing, but it was like, I think it said it was Ninth House meets The Secret History, and I hate The Secret History, and The Ninth House is one of my favorite books of all time. It was more The Secret History. It was much more The Secret History. Could not stand it. Again, got rid of that one pretty soon after I DNF'd it. All the Dangerous Things was a huge disappointment because their previous book, I cannot remember what it's called. Their previous book, Find Things in the Dark, I don't remember what it's called, but I loved the previous book. I think it's like Stacey Willingham is the author. Loved the first book, gave it a 5-star, gave this one a 2. Really hated the end of this one. I don't like kids and stories, but I gave it a shot because I liked the previous book, but this one kind of fell back into what I don't like about having kids and stories and like as a front and center kind of thing. So I just don't like it, and I don't like how it ended. So this one was a pass, and got rid of it pretty fast after I read it. Over My Dead Body is a witchy graphic novel that was just so horribly boring and depressing that after I finished reading it, I was like, I feel tricked, because the artwork was so cute and like witchy and vibey, and then the actual story was just like, yikes. So that was definitely not for me. What Souls Are Made Of was, I feel like I've already talked about this one. What Souls Are Made Of is one of the worst books I've ever read. DNF'd it. I should have known better though. I feel like this one was on me because it was a Wuthering Heights retelling, and I don't like Wuthering Heights. So I don't know why I thought I was gonna like this, so that was a hard pass. The Last Thing He Told Me, I'm just not interested in that one at all. I know it's about to become, or it's already become, a TV or movie or TV series, I don't know which one, but I would rather watch it in TV or movie form than read the book. I'm so not interested in the storyline of that. The Appeal. The Appeal. This should have been amazing. I love mixed media. I love the idea behind this and everything taking place in a play and emails and all this cool stuff. And I was so bored. I was so bored. And it makes me super reluctant to pick up another Janice Hallett. But Halle, whatever. Let me know how to say that last name if I said it remotely right or wrong. But she has like the 12th code or 12th something. She has another book out that sounds really, really cool. And I really want to like read it, but I feel like I'm going to be wasting my time again because of the last one. And so I don't know. I'm just nervous to pick up a book by that author after how much I really did not like The Appeal. Runtime, another hugely disappointing one because I am always obsessed with books that have to do with like movie sets and behind the scenes stuff. And this one just did not work. And it was mixed media. And it had a gorgeous cover. But yeah, that one's out of here. That one was so just anticlimactic, very generic, and it got very repetitive and boring, and very upset about that one. River of Ashes. Least favorite book I've ever read, I think literally ever. It got a 1 star, should have DNF'd it within 10 pages. It was the worst written book I have ever read, and I feel like it was written by, it was a female male duo. Felt like it was written by a male pervert, to be honest. I could not believe what I was reading. It was disturbing, and I read a lot of disturbing things, and for some reason, the amount of carelessness for the victims in the story, even by like, because it's like a killer point of view and a girl's point of view, and even in the girl's point of view, the lack of respect for the victims and caring for the victims makes me very nervous. Makes me very nervous about these authors and their yeah, how they view life. And I was even more insulted when the end of the book, like the acknowledgments was like, I wrote this for all the victims out there, and I'm like, no, you didn't. You did not. So no, that was an awful book. It's the first book I feel like I've ever read where I'm actively like telling people, don't read it. Don't read it. Don't buy it. Don't, no, absolutely not. It was terrible. Don't do that to yourselves. Don't do it. Don't do it. Daisy Darker. You guys, I feel like, know my feelings on that. Yeah, hated it. Hated the ending. I feel like I liked a lot of it, but the ending was really bad. It was so bad. I can get why people liked it, but at the same time, I really don't. And then in that vein, we have The Family Game, which I also like get why people like, but also mostly just really don't. And I feel like that one was marketed incorrectly because it said, I'm a big horror movie person. It said it was gonna be like Ready or Not, and it was not. It was the not part of that. No, don't go into that thinking that it's like Ready or Not, because it's not. It's horrible. So bad. And we are on to the last 3 that I passed on. I actually originally bought the very first one for myself, and then quickly realized it was not for me, but I was like, oh my gosh, my aunt is gonna love this. So I got the next 2 books in the series and gave them to my aunt as a present, because she's always giving me books that she's read. And so I was like, here, I know you're gonna like them much more than I did, so I hope you end up, I think she loves them too. But you guys are really gonna be mad. Thursday Murder Club. I really didn't like it. I got through 20% and I DNF'd it and picked it up like 4 or 5 times, like the other book that I really wanted to like, and I hated it. I really, really hated it. So, so that was a DNF, but luckily I had someone who I knew was gonna like them and wanted the books, so that makes me happy. But yeah, that's my chill unhaul. I'm sorry I don't have like most of the books. I feel like that's part of the fun, is to see books being peeled off the shelves. But I kind of just want to tell you what I've gotten rid of lately and what I haven't been enjoying. So that's kind of why I did this like chiller way of doing it. But I had a fun time. Now I feel caught up with that side of things. I have to do a book haul that I really don't want to do because I got behind. So it's February. I think end of January is the last time I did a book haul. And there's a lot more books that I've bought since then. So I'm just like dreading it, but the longer I drag it out, the worse it's gonna be. So I'll probably have to set that up next week sometime. I just really don't want to. Really don't want to. But anyway, that's all I got for you in this video. Make sure you subscribe for more content to eventually see that book haul, hopefully. and more just, I got a lot of stuff going on. Got a lot of stuff going on. And make sure you like the video and make sure you comment down below if you liked any of these books, why you like them, why I'm ridiculous for getting rid of them, because I know books are different for everybody, so I love that. That's the fun part of the book community. And then if you didn't like any of the books either and why you either kept them or got rid of them. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.